What I am asking you is to continue to abuse their minds, the minds of your colleagues, that there's no deliberate intention by the mayor to suppress you.
President Muhammadu Buhari receives women parliamentarians, highlights women's critical role in stabilizing the polity.
We are working on timeline and on budget. The good thing is that we are not owing.
Federal government assesses various ongoing infrastructural projects, hands over completed ones to beneficiaries.
We are giving more teeth to bite to the code of conduct in order to be able to function properly.
National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies partners Inter-Party Advisory Committee on new code of conduct for political parties. And 2018 Democracy Day celebration kicks off in Abuja. Good evening and welcome to NTA Network News. I'm Elizabeth Stober in Abuja. Also reading with me tonight is Agatha Egware-Ojo in Benin and Jennifer Igwe in Lagos. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed gratitude for the support he has been receiving from the women folk, urging them to maintain the spirit of stabilizing the polity in the country. The president stated this while receiving the Conference of Nigerian Female Parliamentarians led by their chairperson, Elizabeth Onyem-Wem Ativie. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports.
Receiving the female lawmakers from the 36 states houses of assembly under the platform of the Conference of the Nigerian Female Parliamentarians, President Muhammadu Buhari noted the good job and responsibilities carried out by women folk in advancing Nigeria's democracy and governance, adding that their role in national development is paramount. While taking into consideration their demands for having more elective positions and appointments, the president reaffirmed his readiness to imbibe the beauty of democracy in working with all segments of the society, particularly women, in an effort to move the country forward.
I remain grateful to you. I also received reports from the field that some of the women were under labor. They went in line to vote for me. Some were taken to neighborhood to deliver to come back and vote in me. I'm very grateful for that.
The president urged them as mothers to remain resolute in their campaign for promoting peace, unity and development, especially at home and at the grassroots, for the overall development of Nigeria.
What I am asking you is to continue to disabuse their minds, the minds of your colleagues, that there's no deliberate intention by the males to suppress you. Please continue to stabilize the polity.
The Conference of the Nigerian Women Parliamentarians, under their chairperson Elizabeth Ativie, who identified themselves with the policies and programs of the government, requested the president's continuous support in promoting gender issues in line with their goal of fostering the inclusion of women in politics and advancing their cause in governance and other democratic processes in the country.
Women have the ability to direct, coordinate the home, to benefit all members of the family, and this brings stability, peace, and progress. This ability, no doubt, can be used by women to bring about national development.
I must say that Her Excellency, the wife of the President, Mrs. Aisha Muhammad Buhari, who is championing the cause of women in Nigeria, particularly in the area of participation, inclusion in politics, has really done very well to be able to make it possible for the female parliamentarians at state level across the state to come and meet with Mr. President and be able to tell him actually the concern and the need to open more widely political space for women in Nigeria come 2019.
From the State House, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has advised states to begin thinking as a country in making development and revenue generation plans rather than relying solely on shares from the federal allocation. He gave the advice at the annual Leadership Award ceremony where prominent Nigerians were honored. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Enumerating the achievement made in the then Western region, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the achievement was made through tax paid by the people and a commitment by the government to be transparent in utilizing this for the good of the people. He says states should start thinking out of the box on how to increase their internally generated revenue while not overburden the people and investors.
Without federal allocation, most cannot survive. Indeed, the problem of the states is the same as that of the federal government, a complete reliance on a source of revenue that is extractive and so requires no creativity or productivity whatsoever. Most resource-rich nations and subnationals in the developing world end up being poor and financially unviable because making easy revenues from the extraction of resources is habit-forming.
The federal government under President Muhammadu Buhari says has been able to increase the number of taxpayers, increase enabling business environment, ensures completion of projects embarked on by previous administration for continuity, as well as put in place mechanism to prevent corruption. The federal government, the vice president explains, did not ignore agriculture being the highest employment generation sector. It also deployed available technology for administration. All these, he says, must be emulated by the states for sustainable development and for states to be financially viable, which is the theme of the program.
Thinking like a country means planning like one. And I think that one of the most important things for states to do is to begin to think and plan like countries do. And we cannot wait for constitutional reform that may be required for further devolution to the states. We must act whether or not there is this reform. In many cases, states have control of some of the resources that can make a tremendous difference in the way that they operate.
In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The federal government is not taking it easy with contractors who fail to engage a sizable number of Nigerians in the execution of its ongoing projects across the country. Minister of State 2, Power, Works and Housing, Suleiman Hassan Zarma, reiterated this when he requested for more indigenous workers to be employed at the construction site of Federal Secretariat Complex in Ado-Ekiti in order to create jobs and fast-track its completion.
Ekiti State was the first port of call as the Minister of State 2 for Power, Works and Housing, Suleiman Zarma, leads other officials of the ministry to inspect projects in the southwest. One of the projects visited is this ongoing construction of Federal Secretariat, awarded by the Buhari administration in 2017. But the level of work done here is put at 20%, falling behind expectations. The same tales of delay greeted the team in Osun State, where the minister, however, attributed the situation to geological structure of the area and few hands on the job.
We are working on timeline and on budget. The good thing is that we are not owing. One other good thing is that you can see he has mobilized a lot of equipment. What needs to be mobilized more now is the number of persons to put their hands on this project.
At the housing sites in both states, the minister made a case for the physically challenged persons to be considered in the condominium buildings and commended the team in Osun for doing a good job. Other projects inspected in Osun included rehabilitation of Oshogbo-Ilesha Road, dualization of Bogon-Akoda Road, and Chief Abdul Karim Adebisi Akonde Trumpet Bridge. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Similarly, the flood and erosion work at Amachara in Umuahia South Local Government area of Abia State, initiated by the federal government through the Ecological Fund Office, has been inaugurated. Minister of State for Agriculture and Rural Development, Senator Henneken Lopobiri, said the effort is part of the federal government's determination to provide effective intervention to address erosion problems across communities in the country. Dennis Temple reports.
The minister explained that the project is one of the 26 ecological intervention projects approved by President Muhammadu Buhari in the first quarter of 2017 as approved by the Federal Executive Council. He said the project will not only enhance the living standard of the people, but will as well check the risk of lives and properties.
From time to time, the president, based on availability of funds, gives approval, to tackle some of the ecological problems from time to time. But at this material time, in 2017, among the thousands of ecological problems that we had in the country, Abia was the only state that had two.
The Abia State Governor, as well as the member representing Umuahia Federal Constituency, commended the federal government for the laudable initiatives and urged them to extend the gesture to other parts of the state.
Two projects were massive ecological interventions that cost the federal government over 700 million naira.
The community was assured that the erosion control will stand the test of time. In Umuahia, Dennis Temple, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. We have more on government's infrastructural projects from Benin, where Agatha will take us through. Agatha?
Elizabeth, good evening and a warm welcome to Benin. Edo State government has taken delivery of the completed Northern Asian Water Project in Ugboha, East and Southeast local government area of Edo State. Goodluck Inayini reports that the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, was in Government House in Benin City, where he formally completed the documentation and handing over ceremony.
Of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, accompanied by his Information, Culture and Orientation counterpart, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, said the water project, which has the capacity of generating 2 million gallons of water daily, was executed at the cost of 3.85 billion naira. Alhaji Suleiman expressed satisfaction in the quality of job done and urged the state government to maximize its usage.
I'm confident that being a progressive government, that you put all the necessary investment in terms of time and personnel and other resources that may be required.
Governor Baseki said it will go a long way in addressing the age-long water problem in Issa Land.
The government of Edo State is very aligned to the water policies of the federal government, including the water policy, which you have brilliantly enunciated during your tenure as a minister.
The project is one of the series of projects undertaken by the federal government. In Benin, I am Goodluck Inayini, NTA News.
In the meantime, the federal government is taking deliberate measures to harness tourism potentials in the country and will use the forthcoming United Nations World Tourism Organization Congress for Africa, holding in Abuja next month, to further showcase Nigeria's tourism potentials. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, was speaking when he paid a courtesy visit to Governor Godwin Obaseki.
The base for Nigeria's cultural heritage, said he was in the state in view of the forthcoming international event where ministers from 51 nations will converge on Abuja to deliberate on issues that will fast-track their tourism industry. He said, as a state with huge tourism potential, it is logical to have the governor at the meeting.
Culture drives tourism. Hence, a repository of culture, such as Benin City, is a critical stop in our ongoing national advocacy for this meeting.
Governor Baseki described the invitation as an opportunity to reach out to those that matter in the industry.
An event like this offers us a state an opportunity to come and mix and associate with practitioners, other governments on the continent who have made successes of their own tourism potentials.
The outcome of this meeting, the minister and the Edo State governor believed will serve as an impetus for the drivers of government policy in the tourism industry. In Benin, I'm Goodluck Inaini, NT News.
That ends our package. Elizabeth, it's back to you for more reports on the network news.
Thank you, Agatha. Senate President Bukola Saraki says the provision of 1% of Consolidated Revenue Fund provision for primary health care in the 2018 budget is targeted at reducing maternal and infant mortality in the country. He was speaking at a meeting with the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
It was a visit by the executive members of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, led by its president, Professor Ahmed Yakasai, primarily to thank the Senate for the provision of the 1% of Consolidated Revenue Fund for the primary health care in the 2018 budget.
It's for the poor people, because it is so hard financially to be paying out of pocket.
We're going to work so hard to make sure that this money is well utilized, so that our vision that we hope to make our people be even healthier, we'll see that those who are in charge of supervising this will make sure that Nigerians can afford primary health care, and we make primary health care available.
The Senate President also granted audience to the joint health sector unions, JOHESU, during which he promised that the National Assembly will do all it can to ensure an amicable relationship between the union and government.
The only thing I can assure you that on our part is that we will make sure that the right thing is done, and we will make sure that this matter is resolved.
The Senate President had met with the Ministers of Health and that of Labour in a bid to find a lasting solution to the JOHESU matter. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The Public Accounts Committee of the House of Representatives has requested the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs to make available the names, bank statements and payment vouchers of persons allegedly employed by the ministry as cleaners in 2015. Chairman of the committee, Kingsley Chinda, gave the directive when the permanent secretary of the ministry appeared before it. John Yaku has details.
The Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs was summoned before the House Committee on Public Accounts following a query from the Auditor General over payment of 43 million naira to cleaners. Permanent Secretary in the ministry, who could not provide satisfactory answers to the query, said he is new in the office.
Since joining the ministry in January this year, I've tried very hard to acquaint myself with all the happenings in the ministry.
A cash advance of 4 million naira to a staff above 200,000 for the purchase of electric bulbs without evidence of the items going into the store was another contending issue at the hearing. So was the indictment of the ministry over a 2.6 million naira duty tour for an officer. The committee therefore requested the ministry to reappear on the 27th of June with the names of the concerned officers.
We uphold this query and order that James Nebo be brought before the committee to answer to these issues that are ruling.
The Nigeria Copyright Commission also appeared before the committee but was asked to resubmit its response in the right format. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
Time for some messages. The news continues in just a moment. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Smartphone Network. Take a good look at our world today and you'll discover something interesting. More and more drivers are choosing mobile motor oils. You see, as engine performance becomes more important than ever, the vehicle owners are coming to expect more from their engine oils. They're demanding more mileage on a single oil change. They're demanding longer-lasting engines and smoother rides. They're demanding the best. And with Mobile, that's what they get. We raised the bar for motor oils with the Mobile Super 1000. And with the Mobile One, we raised it even higher. And because it's made using the most advanced engineering processes, Mobile motor oils leave your engine super clean, increase its durability, and keep it so well protected, it never stops running. So if success for you depends on continuous movement, you need engine oil, engineered for that purpose. Mobile, performance at its best.
Make it mobile.
The managements of the Nigeria Television Authority, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, and Voice of Nigeria wish to invite the general public to the 13th edition of the annual Ramadan lecture, which will inshallah hold on the 10th of Ramadan, 1439 after Hijrah, equivalent to 26th of May 2018, at Lumana Multipurpose Center, River Road, off Jabi Road, East, Gwarimi, Jerry, Kaduna, by 9 a.m. The topic is fighting corruption, the Islamic perspective, to be delivered by Dr. Bashir Aliu Umar, Bayero University Kano Chief Imam Al-Furqan Jumat Mosque. Chief host, His Excellency Mala Nasir Ahmad El-Rufai, the Executive Governor of Kaduna State. Royal Father of the Day, His Royal Highness Alhaji Dr. Shehu Idris Sefa, Emir of Zazzau. You are welcome. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
The Senate Joint Committee on Petroleum Industry Bill invites all stakeholders and the general public to a 3-day public hearing on Petroleum Industry Administration Bill 2017 SP.540, Petroleum Industry Fiscal Framework Bill 2017 SP.472, and Petroleum Hosts and Impacted Communities Development Bill 2017 SP.404. The public hearing is scheduled to hold as follows. Date: Monday 4th to Wednesday 6th June 2018. Venue: Senate Conference Room 231, Senate New Building, National Assembly Complex, Abuja. Time: 10 a.m. daily. All concerned stakeholders and members of the general public can access the bills on Host Communities Bill, www.nas.gov.ng/documents/9779, Administration Bill, www.nas.gov.ng/documents/9781, Fiscal Bill, www.nas.gov.ng/documents/9783. For further information, please refer to This Day newspaper of 25th May 2018, Daily Trust newspaper of 25th May 2018. Announcer, Senator Kabir Garba Marafa, CON, Marafa Ngozo, Chairman.
Dettol team is visiting schools to teach children how to protect themselves from diseases. Do you know how we get illnesses like diarrhea, cough, and cold? No! They are spread through germs which are everywhere. You collect germs that cause diseases. You pick up germs from any surface, like when you don't wash your hands after going to the toilet, while playing. And then you can get sick because of germs. That's why you need to fight germs to stay healthy by washing your hands and taking your bath with Dettol soap to protect from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Wash, wash, wash your hands. What you have to do is bath, bath, bath yourself. Dettol soap every day. Wash, wash, wash your hands.
Do you know that the Nigerian police now operates in the best international practices of policing? Do you know that the Nigerian police has been restructured to be more accountable and responsive to all your security challenges? Now, what the police demand from you is your trust, your collaborative efforts by providing necessary information about criminals and their activities in your neighborhood. Be vigilant. To achieve our creed as we promise, we shall police the country based on international core values of policing with integrity. We shall ensure that rule of law prevails in our actions and activities. We shall respect diversity, display courage, show compassion, and demonstrate professionalism. We shall operate within the principle of democratic policing. We shall shun corruption, and we shall make Nigeria safer and secured under the leadership of IGP Ibrahim Otum Idris.
Let the wind of change blowing across the country chase away crime for the benefit of our society. Yes, the Nigerian police says this change must come with peace and tranquility.
This message was brought to you by the Public Relations Department of the Nigerian Police Force.
Thank you for staying with us on NTA Network News. Bauchi State Governor Mohammed Abdullahi Abubakar has formally reacted to the recent resignation of the Deputy Governor Nuhu Gidadu, describing it as part of the rudiments of democracy. State House correspondent Aliu Kabir reports that the governor said, in spite of the development's relationship with the former deputy governor remains cordial and does not in any way affect the strength of the All Progressives Congress in Bauchi State.
There was nothing bad that transpired between us. His final paragraph is that he remains loyal to his leader and his brother. All right, and in my response, I eulogized him, and then I wished him the best in his future endeavors, and I assured him of the support of the government and good people of Bauchi State. So there's no problem whatsoever.
A revised 2018 Code of Conduct for political parties in Nigeria has been adopted, signed and presented to the public. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, urged political party leaders to use the provisions enshrined in the Code of Conduct to enhance Nigeria's true democratic culture. Saliu Abdullahi reports.
One after the other, leaders of the 68 political parties, under the watchful eyes of the INEC representative and IPAC national chairman, appends their signature to validate the Code of Conduct 2018. It is a 12-page document with comprehensive analysis on the rule of law, campaign issues, voter education, pre- and post-elections issues, as a working tool for Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC.
And we have given more teeth to bite to the Code of Conduct in order to be able to function properly.
And therefore we have affirmed again that the political parties, even the new ones, must accept and adopt, even progressively, the inclusion of women.
I think these are welcoming development that will allow political party to be more disciplined.
And political parties can be checkmate through its own accepted document. We are bound to have less legal acrimony.
In a message, INEC National Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu says the Commission remains committed to strengthening its internal systems and providing a level playing field for all political parties and candidates by ensuring the sustenance of a credible electoral environment.
It's a good avenue for improved relations with the political parties.
With these, stakeholders, particularly political leaders, are expected to go into the 2019 general elections better prepared. Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
As part of activities to commemorate Democracy Day in Nigeria, special prayers were offered in Abuja National Mosque. The overseer of the National Mosque, Sheikh Ahmed Galadanchi, who led the Jumat prayer, prayed that the fasting and supplication by Muslims would translate to continued peace, justice and equity in Nigeria. Garba Muhammad Nata'ala reports.
After the congregational prayer, the Imam reminded Muslims of the lessons of Ramadan period that positively transformed their lives. He equally charged the Muslim Ummah on sustaining unity as well as other adherents of religion to consolidate on democracy, which has basis in all faith.
In Islam, a real democracy means that, as I said, everybody should be the same, and then there must be justice in everything.
The National Mosque is a befitting place of worship on Fridays, filled to capacity like this. Special prayers were offered as part of activities to mark Democracy Day.
We give thanks to Almighty God. We should not take it for granted to have uninterrupted democracy another year. It's what a lot of countries strive for, to have that form of government. And I think we should continue to fight for it, to defend it, not to take it for granted. And we should make sure that the people benefit from that kind of government.
A great achievement that calls for annual revisitation in gratitude to God, who makes it possible for the collective participation of the people in the development of the country, collective participation of the people in bringing about leadership, and then collective participation of the people in arriving at a position that will see to the advancement of the cause of the nation.
The diverse groups at the mosque is an indication of the mood of a peaceful atmosphere in commemoration of Democracy Day on May 29th. From the National Mosque, Abuja, Garab Muhammad Natala, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government has declared Tuesday, 29th May, as public holiday to celebrate the 2018 Democracy Day. The Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdulrahman Bello Dambazo, who made the declaration on behalf of the federal government, congratulated Nigerians on the occasion and pledged government's continued dedication to entrenching democracy in the polity. The minister urged all Nigerians to trust and support the government in its commitment to build an indivisible, peaceful and greater nation based on the tenets of democracy. And good governance has been described as key in the management of resources and policy making. Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Ibas represented says the sterling qualities of President Muhammadu Buhari towards repositioning the country to greater heights are evident in the areas of security and infrastructural development. Olajide Bello reports that this was at the Nigerian Navy's 62nd anniversary Jumat prayers held at the Defense Headquarters Jumat Mosque in Abuja.
Allahu Akbar.
The Navy has fared well. As I speak to you, we have about 179 ships and boats ready, able, in the defense of this territorial integrity of the nation. We have never had it so good than this administration.
With the motto, "Onward Together," the Nigerian Navy pledged its unalloyed commitment towards safeguarding the nation's maritime domain and government infrastructure. United States Embassy is to train rangers of the National Park Service on wildlife trafficking. The U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Stuart Symington, made the offer after a guided tour of the national park in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
The ambassador goes to farm. Sounds funny, I guess, but that shows the importance the United States attaches to nature. From the 6 hectares mini park to the animal orphanage, down to the wildlife museum, were all interesting stories of how Nigeria is blessed with huge tourism potentials that are underutilized.
Finding ways consistent with the culture of every part of Nigeria to gain value without destroying these incredible resources that you have.
A lot of gains from this visit, and one has already been achieved, and that is the training of officers of the service in investigating wildlife trafficking.
Yes, one giant step by the service to achieving its set goals as the ambassador puts his footprint in the National Parks archives. Mia Ogidi, NTA News.
To enshrine transparency and credibility in the recruitment process into the Nigeria Police Force, the Police Service Commission has engaged the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board to conduct computer-based tests for applicants. The exercise, which took place this Friday, was monitored by JAM Registrar Professor Ishaq Oloide and Assistant Inspector General of Police Estefanus Shetima. Rashidat Mustafa Lagunju reports.
The nationwide exercise had 37,062 candidates writing the examination in 156 centers. The computer-based test for the police job seekers is coming after a physical and credentials screening.
Maintain standard in the Nigerian police force. That is why we know JOM has been very, very excellent in terms of conducting exams. We get the excellent people to join the police force.
We want to do something that is not that transparent. JAMB is not the right place to go. But if you know that you want to set the rule and you want the rules to be enforced and transparently so, the JAMB will give you the services.
Police is the 16th agency to engage JAMB to conduct tests for their candidates in recent time. Rashidat Mustafa Olamuchu, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC is carrying out a comprehensive review and inspection of its major road facilities with a view to enhancing effectiveness in road safety operations. FRSC Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi said the inspection is key to ascertain the state of infrastructure. Comfort Amudu has details.
The facility tour, scheduled to be a nationwide exercise, is taking off from Abuja with Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi conducting roundabout Chairman Buhari Bello and other members. The tour took the team to the signage in Gwagwalada, where they were guided through the processing of the signage. They later proceeded to the printing firm in Kado, where licenses are processed nationwide.
200,000 nationwide.
Yeah, I mean, they are with you.
Not with us.
But the states have taken it.
We have dispatched all
to the states.
To the states.
They also visited the Corps on 7 driving license office, where the board was shown the procedure for physical capture and other processes.
We intend actually to improve the services and also to make the issue of road safety of paramount importance to all the citizens of this country.
Buhari Bello commended the Corps Marshal and his team for unwavering commitment to road safety management in the country.
14-year-old Maisara Abdul Kadir from Kano State has emerged Speaker of the 6th National Children's Parliament with a resolve to ensure that the Child's Right Act is implemented in all the states of the Federation. The post of the Deputy Speaker was won by Precious Okoli from Imo State, while Kaboye Bolade from Bayelsa State was elected as clerk of the Parliament. But Basi Taikpan reports.
10-member parliament, the Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development said Nigerians should take a cue from the children on ensuring gender balance and geographical spread.
Children are very invaluable assets to any nation. They are the future leaders of any society and nation. Therefore, they are always the focal point of a country's developmental index.
The new speaker said his focus will be to push for safe spaces for Nigerian children.
And giving access to justice. This is my plan for Nigerian children.
Creating safe spaces for children simply means that the child is safe from any emotional trauma physically. The child is well assured that yes, where he or she is safe. No harm can come to the person.
Nigeria today, we have social vices like child labor, slavery, cultism. This affects the children psychologically, socially.
The government to provide strict penalties for those people who abuse children.
The inauguration of the 6th Parliament is part of the activities to mark the 2018 Children's Day celebration. This year's Children's Day celebration is on the theme, Creating Safe Spaces for Children, Our Collective Responsibility. Basi Taikpa, NTA News.
You're watching NTA Network News. Let's now join Jennifer in Lagos for more reports. Over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos. The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, says the Lagos-Ibadan Railway project is expected to be completed by December this year. He stated this while inspecting the rail projects in Lagos and Ogun states. Dotun Oguyemi was on the tour.
Lagos-Ibadan Railway project is one of the Nigeria Railways modernized projects aimed at reducing the travel time between Lagos and Ibadan. With the expectation of the project to be completed before the end of the year, The minister is urging the contractors to commence work on the Lagos end from Iju to Apapa Port to fast-track it.
At the next meeting on the 28th, 2 bridges should have they should have been completed in terms of laying of the beams. Two bridges, I said. And then about 11 kilometers of track laying should have been completed. So we are progressing. We want to see the progress of work from here to Lagos. And the next meeting will take place at Ibadan. So I can also assess what we've done from Abuja to Ibadan.
When completed and operational, the rail project is expected to reduce the number of heavy-duty trucks and containers plying the highways.
It will benefit the owners, the trailer owners, because they don't need to flog their trailers from Sokoto to Lagos. They can come to the railhead and move their loads because we are going to be working together. That's what we call it a model.
Major issues hindering the project have been the Nigerian Army Ordnance Corps and the gas and water pipelines which are on the route. The minister said these will have to give way, adding that the Lagos state government has cooperated so far to ensure the project is completed in due time. In Lagos, Dotun Ogunyemi, NTA News.
The need for an amendment of the Constitution to adopt a law remitting of funds to the excess crude account to promote accountability and transparency in oil and gas sector and ensure effective management of the nation's resources was the focus at a roundtable on saving and stabilization mechanism for Nigeria. Amaka Owo reports that the event was organized in Lagos by the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Foundation.
Following reports from the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NETI, which reveals that despite an estimated $1 trillion generated in oil revenue in the past 6 decades, the nation has no significant savings owing to corruption and mismanagement of oil reserves. This, experts say, has translated into slow economic growth and subsequent increase in poverty rate in the country.
The ECA has had no significant increase despite rallying oil prices between July 2017 and January 2018.
For us, that's a major issue. One, because it feels like the funds and investment into the process is not justified.
Up until today, 2003, today is 2018, that's 14 years, right? Of 15 years thereabout. We still haven't mustered that will to amend the Constitution in order to make us a country that saves.
Because there are new things in the new laws and the new policies, which will compel all the operators, to actually operate as per the new in line with the new requirements, a lot of things has to happen and happen very, very quickly.
Other experts on the advisory panel stressed the need for advocacy on the part of citizens and for policymakers to encourage all tiers of government to regularly meet their financial obligations to the Sovereign Wealth Fund accounts. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NTA News.
This is still the NTA Network News. More reports ahead after this timeout. Stay tuned.
Every day, I see patients who come to me suffering from infectious diseases caused by germs, from typhoid to diarrhea, flu, cough. An average human being comes in contact with over 1 million germs daily when we use the toilet, from our door handles, from other surfaces. We transfer to others without realizing. That is why we recommend Dettol Antiseptic Liquid. Protect your family from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Be Dettol Sure.
All TVs say picture quality, but never mention the most important color, black. It uncovers the hidden details of nature, brings out the richness in all colors, and reveals life. With self-lighting pixels, only OLED TVs make perfect black, and perfect black creates perfect color. LG OLED TV.
Madam. Brought us as usual.
As usual.
For the three
you are welcome, sir.
As usual, yeah?
You take that one.
Yeah.
Take that one.
Yeah.
You don't understand? We want Nigerian homegrown rice. Finish. You don't have? You don't have?
Join the rice revolution today.
No other rice that tastes like Nigerian rice.
Are you sorry?
That's the Nigerian rice we are talking about. Chocolate made in Nigerian rice. Healthy food. I'm going to bring Mrs. Mobu to come to chocolate rice of made in Nigeria here. And see how it are made.
Correct.
And how they are cook it.
Correct.
Homegrown rice are good for your health. It boosts our economy and give employment to our people.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over 40 years.
Thank you for staying with us on NTA Network News. Talking business now, African countries receive highest ever disbursement from African Development Bank for infrastructural transformation, just as profit-taking continues in the equities market. Let's now join Amina Nujain on Business News.
The Africa Development Bank, AFDB, says it has increased disbursement to support the structural transformation of African countries. Akinwumi Adesina, President, Africa Development Bank, says the disbursement reached $7.81 billion in 2017, a 15% increase over 2016, the highest on the bank's record. The increase is said to be driven to a large extent by a 42% increase in project loan and grants disbursement, which reflects in part improved portfolio management. The bank approved 249 operations amounting to $8.93 billion, which reflected in its core financing disbursement, operational strategies and portfolio management. Meanwhile, activities from the Nigerian Stock Exchange revealed that the losing streak continues in the nation's equities market as profit-taking persists. The OSHA index shed further 1.01% to end the week at 39,323 basis points, while market capitalization stood at 14.244 trillion naira. 293 million shares were traded in 4,911 deals valued at 2.949 billion naira. First City Monument Bank PLC, United Bank for Africa PLC were the most traded stocks among investors. Top gainers are Ikeja Hotels, MRS and Sterling Bank, while the top losers were led by Equity Assurance. The stock market report concludes business news for this hour. Good evening.
Thank you, Amina. 350 traders and artisans in Kano State have benefited from the federal government's microcredit scheme in Kano being executed by the Bank of Industry. Mansour Aliu reports.
Market Money is a microcredit scheme under the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program (GEP). It is introduced to provide financial aid for the underbanked and unbanked. This objective is being achieved through the provision of easy and quick loans at zero interest rate. Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo's visit to Kano was designed to meet with a section of over 11,000 market money beneficiaries in the state, with a view to assess the impact of the scheme that curbed 583 million naira alone in the state.
A lot of them, even with 50,000 or sometimes less, have been able to grow their businesses.
This initiative is targeted at petty traders, artisans, enterprising youths, as well as small-scale farmers across the country. To this end, the Bank of Industry had employed the services of market aggregators to train, identify, and monitor those that benefit from the program to ensure that the money is paid back in 24 weeks.
When I joined Jeep as an agent in 2016, we were just 4 of us with about 200 beneficiaries. As we speak today, we have over 80,000 beneficiaries that have accessed Jeep through our agent from the 350,000 Nigerians that have accessed, which is over 4 billion naira.
Most of the beneficiaries are widows and single mothers.
The Jeep Market Money project also aims at projecting the federal government's plan of granting the dividends of democracy to the people at the grassroots level. Mansour Aliyu Hassan, NTA News.
Let's now take another break. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just my advice.
Even now, sir, they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy. May they stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
You're still watching NTA Network News. Talking sports now, the video assistant referee VAR is our focus on today's World Cup countdown with sports correspondent Ayodeji Makinde.
On our countdown today, we examine the essential facts about one